Welcome to the history. Welcome to the culture. Welcome to community that dreams and achieve. Living in change for better tomorrow. Welcome to the Eunice Malath Show.
Thank you, Eunice Malath Show, for this opportunity. For your viewers, my name is Nangar Gordon Baliala Medit, South Sudanese. Currently, I work in the Office of President of the Republic as a National Coordinator for Northern Corridor Integration Projects. First, I want to give you some highlights or background of my life. I was born in Rumbek in 70s, then moved to Juba area where my father was working. I did my intermediate, my primary here in Juba, and also part of my intermediate. And then finished my intermediate schools in Khartoum, and then I finished my high school in Rufa, which is for many people is called Sheikh Lutfi Secondary School in Al Jazeera. Then I was also accepted in Juba University. We were the first batch for the College of Engineering. I was accepted to study architecture, but for reasons beyond my control, I left Khartoum in '98 to Egypt, where I seek resettlement to US. But when I was at the Juba University, I was activist with ANF. It's African National Front. Is a group of young South Sudanese activists who were lobbying for the cause of South Sudanese within North Sudan. We do it within the universities, which is University of Juba, Khartoum, and University of it's called Ahli. It was in Omdurman. Of course, then from there to Egypt, and then I resettled in US, where also I was partly preaching the cause for our people in South Sudan, especially the liberation struggle that was led by our late leader, Dr. John Garang de Mabior, and our current president, His Excellency General Salva Kiir Mayardit, who have fought for our independence. And within this chance, within your show, I want to thank them. I want to thank all the leaders who fought for this country, South Sudan. I want to say thank you to Salva Kiir Mayardit. I also want to thank all the SPLA veterans and currently who are serving our government for their selfless time they spend during the struggle. This is what we used to do in Khartoum. So we will not get the chance to fight the war, but we fought in our own small, unique way to tell people, the young people, what is happening in the movement, why they're fighting, And so in Khartoum, of course, the NCP didn't accept that. When we were enlightening our people, talking to them about our sacrifice of our people here, talk to them about what is SPLA means, it was a bit tough. but most of us manage that. And that's why during the first speech that the late Dr. John gave in Nairobi in the signing of this comprehensive peace agreement, he appreciated something called 7 fronts. And I think people have to really pay attention to it. What is 7 fronts? 7 fronts was the people who fought. They did not take guns to fight, but they fought using their unique networking. Some fought in Khartoum, and these are the young from the NF. We have people who fought in diaspora, in US, Canada, Australia, and part of Europe. And so we are called 7 fronts for that reason, because we highlight the reason for our movement to the Western world. And in 2001 to 2 and 3, the idea was accepted in the US. And you will find in most churches, they will pressure their congressmen, women, their senators to accept the cause of the people of South Sudan. And so I was part of that in Denver, Colorado. We created the SPLM chapter, and then we also have other activities to show American friends why our people are fighting, and it was accepted. This is some of the role I play in my young age. Until also in 2007, when I founded Leadership Institute of New Sudan, abbreviated as LIONS. The reason I found that, me and some of my friends, is that we were able to come up with an institute that can train young leaders. Because as we are going toward our independence, we need young leaders who can be trained to come and take a small part of our nation buildings. To build our country, need people to build it, and need young people to be part of it. And that's why always they say there are 2 struggles. There is one, the armed struggle toward gaining the independence, of which our leaders have done superbly. Those of Dr. John, our current president, and many other leaders. They have fought, and they brought us the independence in a golden plate. Now, after we gain our independence, the second struggle starts. The struggle of building South Sudan, the struggle of building the state of South Sudan, the struggle for building the nation and the state of South Sudan. And this we need young people to be part of. That is why we have, myself and my friends, created LIONS, so that we will gain some skills to come back home, whether it is leadership in the government, whether it is entrepreneurship, whether it is in health sector, whether it is in agriculture. These skills are needed for South Sudan to build our country. And so we said, okay, we have to train you through this institute. We'll do a small course of 3 weeks, for example, where we will teach you entrepreneurship, governance, and democracy, for example. And we have done well. We did a couple of courses in US and also some in South Sudan. In 2010, I was called to come home and serve the country. By then, our current president was running the election in 2010. And so a group of people sat down and said, okay, let's look for some people from diaspora to come and help in the elections. And so I was called to come, develop a strategy for the presidential campaign of 2010. And I developed some. We brought it in. I gave the ideas when I was still in US. The idea was accepted, and then I was asked to come. And then during the election, I was appointed as, beside being the chief strategist for the campaign, which was my main role, I was also appointed as a director for the information technology and information within the same. So we have, it's kind of a management team for the elections. We have different departments. So I was in charge of one department for the information and passing things out for the people, how to communicate the elections. Election went very successfully, and many people are aware of it. Our president won with 93%. You know, that was a very great victory. After the elections, then also during the inauguration of the president, I also held, I was chairing the committee for the information also by then, until the inauguration finished. After that, I supposed to return back to US to do part of my work there, but I was asked to remain. I was appointed by the president to position of the secretary. By then they create committees for post-referendum negotiations and arrangements. What will happen after the independence, for example, in terms of treaties that were signed by Sudan governments, economics, the public thing that Sudan had, and that was part of South Sudan. So there were 4 committees. There were Committee for Economics, Committee for Security, Committee for International Treaties, and there's a committee for, I think, borders, something like that. But then I was given that task of the secretariat of the treaties and agreements and convention that was signed by Sudan government. We did very well, because without that we will have not, of course, reached independence, because we were tasked to review all the agreements that were signed by Sudan government. And so the chairman by then was Deng Alor, deputized by current Minister of Information Michael McQuay, myself secretary, and we have other members. Mostly Michael McQuay helped a lot, because we sometimes don't sleep, because we have to review all the agreements, and most of them were in Arabic. And good that Michael McQuay also is good in both Arabic and English, plus those of Korbande and others. We will review the agreement and see which one fit for South Sudan, which one did not fit. whether the country that is called South Sudan or the country whole called Sudan will be dissolved, a dissolution of Sudan, where we'll have two new countries. One will be called North Sudan, South Sudan, or the second option was to secede. We cut our part as South Sudan, and then the North remain as Sudan. And so the option of secession was accepted by the government of Khartoum, because the solution sometimes might not favor them, because when you dissolve a country, then the new country now have to apply for new membership, whereby South Sudan will apply to be a member of the UN, United Nations. We apply for membership of African Union. We apply for other small membership for other international organizations. And the same also with Khartoum, also Sudan, they also have to apply for all this, because when it dissolved, that means everybody have to apply again. And so Sudan decided that they might not have option of, if they dissolve the Sudan and then they have to apply for membership, they might not get the chance to be accepted of their own reason. So they opted to secession. And so we also say no problem. We say we will secede from Sudan. So we seceded. That's the thing we have decided, to secede from Sudan. And then we created something called the Republic of South Sudan. And then within the Republic of South Sudan, we have now to apply for membership. And so for our case as South Sudan, we become members of the international community, United Nations, in July 8th, 2011, at midnight, before we reach July 9th, that we are going for our independence. And so by July 9th, 2011, we were full member of the UN. That was also part of the role I played, was given to me to play, and I think I have done to the best of my ability to deliver. And then I was again tasked to establish press office within the office of President of the Republic of South Sudan. And so we established the press office, and I became the first acting press secretary for our President, His Excellency General Salva Kiir Mayardit, for some good month. Developed some department within the press office. And till later on also, I was tasked to be in charge of some file, which is called LabSet. LabSet is a project in Lamu between three countries, the Republic of South Sudan, Kenya, and Ethiopia. I've done that one for some time. And then lately, I was assigned to be the national coordinator for the Republic of South Sudan to follow the Northern Corridor integration projects, of which I'm doing now. And this Northern Corridor is an initiative of presidents. It's been led by 4 presidents. Our president, His Excellency General Salva Kiir Mayardit, share part of South Sudan, and the President of Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, and then the President of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, and the President of Kenya, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, share part of Kenya. And so these 4 presidents, every 2 months they will meet and try to evaluate the progress of different clusters that they have formed. So within the Northern Corridor, they have about 14 different clusters, and they are all for integration projects. Most of it are infrastructure projects. We have the standard gauge railway, which is SGR, that where the 4 presidents want to build the railway from Port of Mombasa to Nairobi, to Malaba, to Gulu, to Pakwach, to Numili, to Juba. This is in our case as South Sudanese. And then of course from there, Kampala to Marema Hill, up to Kigali and that part of the other. For example, container come to Mombasa. It should take 2 days or 3 days to arrive to Juba. You arrive to Mombasa and then you put it on the container on the railway straight to Juba. Within 2 days, it is in Juba. So that the cost of the good is reduced. If you keep the container at the port for 21 days, 11 days, of course the port adds their charges. And when these charges are added, the buyers, the investors, they will add the cost toward the commodities. By the time the commodities arrive to Juba, the price will multiply, quadruple, etc. So our president said, no, let's make the life of our people easy. We build the railways so that goods come very easy. Also, it also will encourage our people in South Sudan, for example, to now take their goods, whatever commodities that we will produce in South Sudan, very easy to put in Mombasa and then to international markets. If we need to make our pineapples, then we can put them in nice containers straight to Mombasa and then to Dubai, to wherever market that we want to take them. That's one way. It will encourage the competition. It will make our people productive because now they have the chance to do, because you don't want the containers or the train to go empty. You will put something there, So it will encourage our people, because then it will be cheaper than going empty. Then maybe the price of transportation will be very cheap, and our people will be able to afford it. And then it will encourage the commodities exchange within the region. That's part of it. Within also Northern Corridor, we have the airspace management, where we need to have one airspace for these 4 countries, and that's what we are going for. For example, if you reach South Sudan, you will have reach Rwanda, because it will be one airspace. We also want to create a mutual defense pact for these 4 countries. Also, mutual peace and security pacts, part of it. We also have ICT infrastructure projects as part of Northern Corridor, where we need to bring the fiber optics to the Republic of South Sudan, so that people will have access to the internet, because currently our internet is very slow. But if we have the fiber optic here, then even the industry can grow. That's one of the projects. We also have power transmissions and interconnections as part of so we need to bring transmission, for example, build a transmission line from Uganda, for example, to South Sudan, 2 ways. So now, for example, we'll take electricity from Uganda or from Kenya to Juba to whole South Sudan, and when our Fula dam is ready, which will produce approximately 800 megawatts, that is very big, it's enough for South Sudan. We can also export it outside. When that is ready, we'll also take our electricity to the East African pools, so that other people in the region can buy from our energy. There's another cluster we are part of. Other classes also, we have the crude pipelines that can pass through Upper Nile, but now we are just waiting for that one. There is a commodity exchange that we are going to encourage, is not going to happen. We also have a cluster on immigration, trade, tourism, labor and services. We are still observers, but we are active in some few subclasses there. We also have a cluster on capacity building, where we need to train our South Sudanese to reach the standard of the region. For example, we are bringing the railway. We don't have a South Sudanese technician that can, for example, drive the train or fixed when it comes to electrical part of it or mechanical part of train, etc. So we will take some part of South Sudan to go for training. So this Northern Corridor also is going to offer more opportunity of employment to our people. They will go for training, whether it is railway, whether it is electricity, whether it is pipelines, developments, whatever that is cluster that we are part of. It will create employment for our people. So now this is what I'm doing for the Republic of South Sudan. I am the national coordinator for the Northern Corridor, and I hope that I will be able to deliver to our people what is required from me as a young person, so that also our other young people out there also have the chance. Because if I fail to deliver as a young person, then it's difficult to give the other young people out there, a chance. They will be say, okay, now last time we give this young man a chance and he failed. Why should we give you the chance? Number two, I also want to give this chance because I'm from diaspora. I came back from US. So that the diaspora also have the opportunity. If you are given the chance, you deliver. So that tomorrow is not say, okay, you were out there studying and whenever we give you the chance, you don't deliver. I want to deliver so that other colleagues from diaspora also have the opportunity. I'm not alone. We have a lot of diasporans here in Juba who are doing very well in their different capacity, and that is very good. But we need to bring more also from there, because to build the Republic of South Sudan, to build this nation, to build our state, we have to come collectively toward achieving what people envision somewhere else as the Republic of South Sudan. That republic that we all want, the big one, the nice one, the one have democracy, the one accommodate people, the one give opportunity to people. We all have to come behind our president, support him. We have to come behind our party, the SPLM, to support. We all have to come behind our army who really fought, to say, okay, you have fought for us, but now jointly together, let's work toward building the Republic of South Sudan. So this is my message for the people out there, our young people, our diaspora. Please come home, bring your skill home, because you are needed. There are messages that nobody give us a chance. When we go home, we are not needed, we are being mistreated. I just want to share that it is not true. If you come, I'm sure there's a chance for you in different capacity. We all don't need to work in the government. We can work in different fields. We can be entrepreneurs. We can work with the NGOs. We can work with other international organizations, with other embassies. But let's come home and build our republic. Thank you very much. Thank you.
If you believe, you can achieve.